Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and I just installed the, oh, wait, stop. When you install new firmware, the first thing you want to do is calibrate the compass on your Mavic Air 2 or any other drone for that matter. I've heard a couple of stories where people just went out and flew after they did an upgrade, and the drone just took off and left them behind. So now we're going to play. Now we're going to play with zoom. If you keep your eye kind of on my left forefinger, you'll notice I'm moving it back and forth on the roller down there. And so you can't see it now, but you will again here pretty soon. So I'm just playing around, having fun with the zoom on the Mavic Air 2. So anyway, kind of a crazy guy. But if you haven't installed the new firmware, you can do that, and then you have to download a new, the latest version of the DJI Fly app, so on your phone or tablet. So you need that, and then you need to upgrade the firmware on the Mavic Air 2. So the zoom is the easiest way to zoom is with that. By holding down the function button, and while you're holding it down, you roll the roller underneath your left forefinger, and if you push it away from you, it'll zoom out. You pull it back, it'll zoom in. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to play around. And like for instance, if I was going to inspect my trailer, you can only get so close to an object, and then all of a sudden the object avoidance comes on, and you can't get any closer. So you come up like that, and there's a little line on the top of that, but that's just a stain. And you'll notice the white button on just next to the record button. You can tap that, and it'll zoom in, or you can roll the roller, which normally does the vertical angle of the gimbal. And here I put my finger on the screen and move the gimbal back and forth, which isn't really the best way to do it, but I thought I'd play with it. And then I wanted to turn off, or to center the gimbal. And so to do that, you double click, because I single clicked. You could see that turns on the auxiliary light, but anyway, you double click, and that will recenter the gimbal. It'll look down at the ground, and then it'll pop back up looking straight ahead. But there's when I had my Mavic 2 zoom, one of the things I would forget, and I've done it again here, one of the things I was always forgetting was when you zoom out, okay, you've got to remember to zoom back in. So you notice things are moving quite fast there because I forgot to zoom in. So I'm going to pretend like I'm going to zoom in on the trailer on this side. Only thing is I'm going to end up zooming out because I forgot to zoom out before. So anyway, this is my first time playing with it, so I'm just having fun. Now, also, I shoot at 2.7 p, and then also at 60 frames per second. That's my normal way of filming. And so here you're going to see where if you're using that, well, then you can only zoom in 2 times. But if you go to 1080p, which we're going to do right here, and then we'll start the recorder going again. And now I'm going to use my roller underneath my forefinger, and I'm going to start scrolling. And you can notice with 1080p, you get a lot more zoom. It zooms all the way up to 4 times. But of course, in 1080p, this is a digital zoom, and so things start to get pretty grainy when you zoom way out. But there's times when you might want to do that, and I don't like flying in 1080p and recording in it. I like to go the 2.7. So Now we're going to go back and go back to 2.7K. The reason that I use 2.7 at 60, first of all, 60 frames per second is much better for action shots. And here I'm doing the same thing I just did using 2.7, and you'll notice it only zooms in twice as far with that. Excuse me. So anyway, the reason that I do my recording with 2.7 rather than 4K because most people, like if they're going to look at your video, they're going to look at it on their iPad or their phone, and so it's small enough that 2.7K is plenty sharp enough for that. And then most people who use laptops or desktop computers, most of the monitors are only 1080p. Now you can spend a lot more money and get a monitor that runs at 2.7, and I think you can also get them that run at 4K. But most people, if you go buy a computer, the resolution is going to be 1080. So in this particular case here, I'm going down and I'm going to zoom in on a on a shed that I should have had. I wish I would have had zoom a couple weeks ago when I made the video that some guy stopped there and it looked like it might have been a drug deal or something. But now remember that with the Mavic 2 zoom, the zoom is actually optical. In other words, there's a lens that moves inside the gimbal, and you still have, if you're shooting 2.7K, it remains at 2.7K. And here I actually just hit the wrong button, but anyway, like I say, this is the first time I played with it. So with the Mavic 2 zoom, you actually do get optical zoom. With the Mavic Air 2, you get digital zoom. In other words, it's the same thing as if you were using your editor and you wanted to zoom in on your editor. And so just generally speaking, if I'm at 2.7 and then I zoom twice as far, I'll still have a fairly sharp image, and it'll be a little bit better than 1080. So anyway, there it is, and like I said, you can download the app and download the firmware upgrade and have fun with this. There's more to the firmware upgrade also. But anyway, thanks for watching, and God bless.